Hi there! Before we go to some examples of solving limits of complex functions, since we're able to talk about the definition for a limit of a complex function, let's illustrate that to be true for some of these instances. So, for example, for this video, we're to prove that the limit of the function f of z minus 1 as z approaches 3 is equal to 11 using the given definition in the previous video. We'll be doing this for 3 instances. We'll have 2 additional videos later on before we present some limit rules or limit theorems for complex functions and some examples. This is to make sure that we were able to solidify our understanding on what is the limit of a complex function and how important is the definition. Notice here that we have our function f of z. If we would like to return to our definition, okay, our f of z here is this function. So you have here 4z minus 1. Our z sub 0, the value that our z is approaching to, it's actually here. It's actually equal to 3. By the way, don't worry for these 3 videos, starting with this one, we will have our z sub 0 as a constant, meaning a real number, not an imaginary with an imaginary value. Just because this is for illustration of the definition of our limit of a complex function with some examples. Okay, and that would mean this is our L. Okay, that is our L being 11. We need to do this because, as we remember, the definition of our limit for a complex number, we will have here the limit of your f of z as z approaches z sub 0 must be equal to L if, here are the things that we need to show here, if for every epsilon greater than 0, hence we're going to introduce epsilon later on, there exists delta greater than 0 as well, and this is our goal, such that, okay, for, let's say if, okay, if the absolute value of z minus z sub 0 greater than 0 and less than your epsilon, okay, then you will have here your absolute value of your f of z minus your L must be less than your, sorry, this is not epsilon, this is actually delta, okay, delta must be less than here epsilon. So what is our goal for this video? To prove this using a definition, we must identify the existence of a certain delta, no matter how small it is, as long as it's greater than 0. And if it exists and it satisfies this claim, then we have shown per definition that the limit of the given function is really equal to 11 as z approaches 3. Now, how do we do that? Okay, how do we show that this is true? There are some instances where the direct proof is given, but as a part of our connection with the real analysis playlist and videos for this in this channel, let's try to do some scratch work first. Okay, let me just introduce a scratch work. So our scratch work here would introduce, okay, so that we would know our direction. Take note that this is our goal. Let us take here f of z minus L. We're going to assume certain values later on, that so that we will know our direction. So our f of z is actually 4z minus 1 minus your L, which is 11. Okay, this is equal to, right, that would mean this is equal to 4z, okay, and then you have here minus 12. What is our goal here? Take note that this is actually less than epsilon as our target. Okay, this is our target. Our goal here is to come up with a possible representation for our delta, because that's our goal for improving. But it would satisfy this portion here. Take note that portion is z minus z sub 0. So that would mean z minus your z sub 0 here, which is a 3. Must be less than delta. This would be the representation for our delta. That would mean we need to manipulate this in such a way that it would, the z minus 3 would appear. Actually, this is actually 4 times, times z minus 3. And we can see here that the z minus 3 is already appearing. So by the properties of absolute value, you have here the absolute value of 4 times the absolute value of z minus 3. Okay, so that would mean it's equal to 4 times the absolute value of z minus 3 is less than epsilon. Since we would like this alone, dividing both sides by 4, so we will get here the absolute value of z minus 3 must be less than epsilon over 4. Take note, this is what is equivalent to this. So with that, we can show here that our delta is actually epsilon over 4. And since it's a positive value, it's existing. Okay, so this would be the direction. Our goal is to show a proof here that would pattern to this. Okay, we're going to have our claim delta be equal to epsilon over 4 so that we will reach our goal of showing that the absolute value of your difference of your function and L is less than epsilon. Okay, so again, this red portion here is just a scratch work. You may not need this if you would like a direct proof of your this item, but we need this so that we could assume a correct value for our delta. Okay, so what we need to do here is now to write our proof. Of course, we need to let epsilon be greater than 0, as that is actually what is the definition is needing. Now this time, we're going to assume here delta be equal to epsilon over 4. Okay, so what is the origin of that? It's actually here this time. But if you don't have that this scratch work, so you're going to manipulate your item, okay, meaning this portion here, okay, to get your equivalent epsilon, delta rather. But since we already did that for our scratch work, so we're just going to proceed now with the rest of the proof. Okay, so by definition, delta, okay, then if you will have here this statement, you have here z minus z sub 0 must be less than delta, or you can write it, of course, you can now substitute your z sub 0, which is a 3 here, okay, less than delta. Then okay, we have your f of z rather, minus L is equal to your f of z, which is 4z, okay, minus 1, minus your L, which is 11, which is equivalent to, again, our goal is to really provide this, okay, to be less than epsilon. So you have here 4z minus 12. That's also indicated in our scratch work earlier. So you are going to factor here 4z minus 3. You'll have here absolute value 4 and then z minus 3. Okay. You have here 4 and then absolute value of z minus 3. Take note, we need to show this is less than epsilon. But since we have assumed earlier that, okay, this one here, because of this being your delta epsilon, what you call this one, over 4, so we can now say that our epsilon, our absolute value of z minus 3 here is less than this. So that's actually now, this would be less than 4 times epsilon over 4, because this is actually less than delta, which is epsilon over 4. So with that, by cancellation, you have shown that this is less than epsilon. So cutting all those in short, so you have this one here and this item here. So we can now say here, hence, the absolute value of your f of z minus L is less than epsilon. Then, since epsilon greater than 0 is arbitrary, then we conclude that, okay, your limit of your 4z minus 1 as z approaches 3 is equal to 11. This is the proof for this given item here using this process. Now, take note, as mentioned, there are a lot of references which have different forms of proof. Some of them doesn't need this scratch work here, just automatic substitution for this instance. But since this is a linear function or I mean, for complex function is linear, we have here 4z minus 1. So it's easy to assume some certain values for your delta. But for some instances where we cannot do that, scratch work is very important. And as mentioned, for some references, they do direct proof. It's okay as long as, again, you can show this value to exist. Okay, so that's the entire premise here. Just show that there exists a certain delta greater than 0. In this case, epsilon over 4, and since epsilon is greater than 0, obviously delta is also greater than 0. So you just need to show that this is true to be less than epsilon following this representation. Of course, some conclusion here. Okay, we'll have 2 more videos, and for those videos, we'll have other forms as well. Thank you very much for watching.